Greetings, my name is Brian Moulton, and I will be your professor, your guide as we study together the general epistles and then that fantastic book of Revelation. This is going to be an exciting course because we can study the Pauline letters and we learn so much from Paul, and he's got a lot of things that are kind of parallel and he builds it in by repetition. When we get to the general epistles, they're general because they're written by a variety of people, and in the case of Hebrews, which we kind of lump in with Pauline epistles, we don't even know who wrote Hebrews. But we have some of the small letters in this course, the 2nd John, 3rd John, Jude. But we'll do what we can to unpack those books together and really find out what's going on in there, because some of those books we almost never quote from in our Christian circles. A little bit about me, Brian Moulton, born and raised in Minnesota. I'm a Minnesota guy. And I spent a lot of years there till I was 23, 24, and then moved away. But I became a Christian in 1981 at the age of 21. I was a university student, and some navigators came, and they're so good at evangelizing those campuses, and they came and talked to me, and it's like, yes, I wanted Jesus. My life changed right there, and I knew I wanted to study the Bible and go into ministry, and I've been doing that ever since. But I left Minnesota then and was married and moved to Dallas, Texas, and attended Dallas Theological Seminary for 9 years, getting the THM, a Master's in Theology, and then staying on for a whole bunch of more years for a PhD in Biblical Studies. And then my young family and my wife and I moved to Nebraska, where I pastored for many years and enjoyed very much the process of just, being real with people. And you marry people, you bury people. Our youth group did stuff like hog washes, where the farmers would bring their hogs in and they would compete with washing hogs and tying bows on their head, and I'd never seen anything like that. And I was a small town guy from Minnesota. So, you have a lot of experiences when you're pastoring, and it's very exciting. I still miss that to this day. But toward the end of the 90s, the Lord convinced me to move on, and I earned my PhD and went into teaching. So in the year 2000, my family moved to California, and I've been a Bible teacher there ever since. Life is great when you're walking with the Lord, and it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, like Chuck Swindoll said in his famous book years ago. And we're going to look at the Bible, and we're going to study the Bible academically. We're going to look at a lot of stuff, some Greek words and some things like this. We want to really do the nitty-gritty of this, right? But also, we want to get into the Word of God so the Word of God can get into us and change us. And ultimately, that's our goal, my friends, is that both professor and student will engage each other, we'll have discussions, we'll have lectures and discussions, and things like this. And the end result, Lord willing, and I'm convinced of it, will be real life change. It'll change us forever, just in these 7 weeks of study. We'll probably spend a good chunk of time toward the end of the course in the book of Revelation, and we'll put together some good studies and teachings and discussions for that. And Revelation, of course, is action-packed. We love that book. I hope you love that book. It tells us so much about what's coming in the end times. And some of it's pretty grim, friends. But thankfully, I'm convinced that we'll be kept out of that grim time. And it's going to be a time for God to get Israel ready for the second coming. And then the kingdom that'll come to earth that will radiate out of the Holy Land all over the world. Well, I don't want to get ahead here too much, but hey, I'm glad to have you in this course. I'm looking forward to meeting you, either in person in class or in the cyber world, or a little bit of both. And until then, God's blessings to you in your continuing biblical studies, theological studies, and over and out. And I'll just say goodbye with my common departing greeting, Selah.